For 1 week in January, something rare happened at Adelaide Writers Week, a moment of moral clarity, a recognition that words are not spoken in a vacuum and that language shapes attitudes, and attitudes can lead to violence. But that moment didn't last. On January 8, the Adelaide Festival Board cancelled the appearance of writer Randa Abdul Fattah at the Writers Week. This came just weeks after the Bondi massacre, when 15 people were murdered at a Hanukkah event at Bondi Beach in Sydney. Now, the board stressed it wasn't linking her writings to the attack, but it did say, given some of her statements in the past, it wouldn't be culturally sensitive to proceed so soon. Why? Because it briefly acknowledged something uncomfortable, that rhetoric which can lead to the dehumanization of Jews can move from words to violence. The Bondi terrorists reportedly filmed a manifesto condemning Zionists, and Abdul Fattah herself has written that Zionists have no right to cultural safety, and that every space they enter should be made unsafe for them. She's also publicly written, "May 2025 be the end of Israel. May we see the abolishment of the death cult of Zionism." Now, let's be clear. The overwhelming majority of the world's Jews identify as Zionists in the basic sense that they support Israel's existence. As Martin Luther King Jr. once warned, when people criticize Zionists, they mean Jews. The day after October 7, as the massacre still dominated headlines, Abdul Fattah changed her social media icon to a Palestinian paraglider, one of the methods Hamas used in its attack. She later said she didn't know the scale of the violence, but symbolism matters, especially in moments like that. At a children's pro-Palestinian event in Sydney, primary school kids were led in chants of "Israel is a terrorist state" alongside calls for intifada. Now, words don't just stay theoretical, they travel. Since October 7, anti-Semitism has surged globally, including in Australia, where incidents are up 5.5 times, according to the Executive Council of Australian Jewry. New South Wales Premier Chris Minns put it plainly: words have consequences. And yet, more than 180 writers boycotted the festival in protest of a cancellation. They cried about censorship, about racism, about the death of free speech. But this wasn't about Abdul Fattah's ethnicity. It was about the content of her words. And the irony? Abdul Fattah herself supported calls to rescind an invitation to Jewish columnist Thomas Friedman 2 years earlier, a move that ultimately saw his appearance cancelled. In the end, the festival collapsed under resignations. First an apology, and finally a full retreat. Abdul Fattah was invited back next year. And just like that, the moment of moral clarity disappeared. But we shouldn't be surprised. For years, the Adelaide Festival has tolerated, even platformed, language calling Israel an abomination, likening Jews to Nazis and accusing them of bloodlust. I even wrote about this back in 2023. But there were no boycotts then, no resignations, and no moral crisis. The Adelaide Writers Week promotes itself as a marketplace of ideas. But too often, this supposed festival of ideas has instead become a festival of hate. And when it comes to the targeting of Jews and Israel, it seems some truths are blocked and deemed too inconvenient to hear at all.